Hello everybody and welcome to another strangely awesome games video. So Season 3 of Call of Duty brought back the fan favorite Rebirth Island into Warzone and we're loving it so far. So to dive even further back into nostalgia, we were using some builds that we based off of guns from Modern Warfare 2019, including the Kilo 141, the MP5, the AX50 Sniper, and several more. So I'm going to start off by showing you my Kilo 141 build. So this is based off the Kilo 141 from Modern Warfare 2019. And I used as close of a match as I could to the attachments that people would use for this gun on Warzone back in the day. So 40 round mag. You could go with the 60 round mag if you wanted more ammo, but then you get that box round mag, which is not as accurate to the look of the OG gun as the 40 is. Commando foregrip, because that's what I felt like everyone honestly used on everything back in the day. That was definitely meta foregrip in Modern Warfare 2019. This SL Crater Heavy Barrel here will give you a lot of increase in your recoil control and your aiming stability at the cost of some mobility, of course, but as you can see if I delete it here, it looks a lot more like the Modern Warfare 2019 Kilo 141 barrels than the default MCW barrel does. And then the Colossus suppressor I'm using as my substitute for the monolithic suppressor. It does about the same thing that the monolithic suppressor did in Modern Warfare 2019. And there is an attachment called the monolithic suppressor in the game right now. But unfortunately, as you can see, it just looks so different from the one in Modern Warfare 2019. It's more of a Russian style suppressor, so definitely don't want to use that if you're going for an accurate look. Colossus suppressor is a great middle ground between matching aesthetic and matching performance of those OG builds. And I'm using the VLK 4x optic because it's a great, perfect reticle, really nostalgic because that was the go-to optic in Modern Warfare 2019. And I'm going to use that across most of my Warzone builds here today, actually. And just for the record, I did put on, as you can see, this chrome camo here, the platinum camo, because it's very reminiscent of the platinum camo we had in Modern Warfare 2019. And the problem with this build aesthetically is if you have no camo on at all, you still have the tan look of the upper and lower receiver, which I don't love. You could, of course, throw on the solid color camo charcoal, but then you still get some of the buttons still have that clay look and the trigger do as well. So not a fan of that. Would recommend running a mastery camo for sure. Okay, so next up we have our AX50 conversion for the Victus XMR. I did take a little bit of liberties here. So I used this Aquilina LR stock optic here. I feel like it has the best match to the one that's the default in Modern Warfare 2019, which is what people usually used. Here I have this stock, which helps you with ADS speed and just honestly mobility in general. You are going to get gun kick control and hip fire spread is a downside, but honestly your gun's recoil is never going to matter with a bolt action rifle in my opinion, and your hip fire spread won't either. Here I have a Bruen Q900 grip. It's got that aesthetic that you would see a lot in Modern Warfare 2019 with the grip tapes, and this will help with your sprint to fire speed and your ADS as well. Again, with that cost to gun kick, which is, in my opinion, not necessary at all. Laser attachment, if you want to go up to one, is up to you. I went for the aim down sight speed, but you can also go for anything you want. I would not recommend anything where the laser will become visible. So I would say either go for the 1 milliwatt Artemis laser to help with aiming stability, or the 1 milliwatt quick fire laser to help with ADS speed. I think I'm going to actually go for Warzone with the 1 milliwatt. I'm going to change that real quick. And 50 cal explosive rounds I'm using just because if you do not use them in Warzone, you are currently not able to get a one-shot kill with any sniper except for the Moors. Okay, next up I have an AN94 based on the SVA 545, which we actually have a conversion video from way back from the beta if you want to get a little bit more of an in-depth look on that gun specifically, and an MP7. So the AN94 is going to be pretty much the same build we had in that video at base, except for a few major changes, which I'll show you. So the stock here, we're going to go with the main V6 stock, which is going to help you a ton with recoil control. Actually a lot if you look at those numbers and percentages, which will stack really nicely with this STV precision barrel, which is going to give you a longer barrel, which will help with the look of the gun. It's going to improve your damage range, your bullet velocity, your aiming idle sway, and your recoil gun kicks. It's going to help you with literally like everything you would want out of a gun in Warzone. I am going to go with the monolithic suppressor on this gun, even though I didn't for the Kilo 141, because this is a Russian gun. Having that Russian suppressor does make more sense to me. We have a 60 round mag here because in Warzone you're going to want as much ammo in the mag as you can possibly get without sacrificing too much the aesthetic of the gun, of course. But back in the day, this is the exact mag people ran on that gun anyway. And then the VLK 4x optic I'm going to use on the majority of my Warzone builds, especially the ones that are Russian weapons in real life, because that optic is a Russian optic. So here I've got the LM Precision stock, which is the stock that people used aesthetic-wise back in Modern Warfare 2019, even though they did change the stats. I believe back in the day it would make you ADS faster. Here, it gives you some aiming idle sway. Also going to put in the Lock DX 203mm because that's going to give you gun kick control, bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil control at the cost of some mobility, of course, but this is Warzone. You're going to be doing a lot of longer ranges, so that's fine. Colossus suppressor, which I said is going to be standard on a lot of these builds. Same with the Commando foregrip. And then the 50 round mag I put on to have some extra ammo in Warzone always helps, of course. But honestly, magazine attachment is totally up to you. If you want to go for the drum mag, go for it. I don't like the look of it personally. If you want to go for the default or the 30 round mag as well, just to kind of save on some of that ADS mobility, absolutely a viable option. Okay, next up we have the M13, which is probably my favorite build in the game, honestly, and was back in the day. So this is going to be pretty much 1-to-1 the attachments you would put on it back in the day. The OK 4x optic, I've already told y'all, I'm a big fan of this one, especially on this gun. 60 round mag here to get just as much ammo as I possibly can fit in the gun in Warzone because people have plates and they take a little bit longer to kill. 14-inch Bruen echelon barrel is going to help with bullet velocity, range, recoil, and hipfire accuracy, which I didn't even realize. You're going to get a bit of a mobility penalty on this, but this is a gun you're going to want to kick out to pretty long range anyway, so that's not going to matter. And the time to kill is pretty fast, so it's going to make up for what you don't have in mobility. Colossus suppressor and Commando foregrip, again, pretty standard in a lot of these builds because they replicate the Commando foregrip is 1-to-1 from back in the day. The Colossus suppressor I'm using as a stand-in for the monolithic. Here I have my Fennec 45 build. This was really popular in Warzone 1 and Warzone 2 actually. Stock here, F-Tac Loctite stock, which is going to help your aim down sight speed a bit, which you're going to need because a lot of the other attachments, well basically all of them on this gun are going to punish you mobility wise. I use the AccuShot 5mm laser to get some aiming stability and aim down sight speed. Your laser is visible in ADS, so you can go for the VLK LZR 7mm instead. Actually, you know what? I think... Oh, it's not as good as for mobility. That surprised me. I would have thought it'd be better. So this is better for mobility, so I would use this one, actually. This barrel, the Forge Tech Ninja, is great because you get a better bullet velocity and range and recoil control, which you're going to want for this kind of gun, especially in Warzone. And you get the built-in bonus of having a suppressor, which will help you stay off the minimap in this game. So honestly, pretty good boost overall for the stats, but the suppressor is the main thing because back in Modern Warfare 2019, suppressors would not keep you off the minimap because shooting would not give you red dot minimap. But so now in this game, I think this is even more effective than it was back then for sure. The Bruen Tactical Vertical Grip I like just because it gives you firing aim stability, gun kick control, and hip fire and tac stance spread, so it can help you if you need to shoot somebody at hip at close range. And then always going to go with the Fennec Mag 45 for the 45 round drum of 45 caliber ammo to give you the most ammunition for you to reload as possible. Next up, I have an M4 build, which I'm going to move through pretty quick because a lot of these attachments I've already kind of talked about. So this is basically just the way you would kit a gun out back in Modern Warfare 2019 and still in Warzone, right? Longest barrel possible, biggest mag possible, the VLK 4x optic, the Commando foregrip, and this Colossus suppressor. So this attachment combination gives you a really good throwback look, but more importantly, it gives you a lot of accuracy compared to the base M4. I think this is probably the most controllable rifle that I've had so far in this video. That was me. I don't even have my finger on the stick right now, as you can see. Recoil is not bad. It's all vertical, so it's really going to be easy to counter. And then here's me countering it. As you can see, I'm pulling down the stick just ever so slightly. And those shots are bunched up really close together. So this build I have, I'm calling the M17 because it's closer to the real-world U.S. military service pistol than the Modern Warfare 2019 version of the pistol called the M19, which is the starting pistol you get in Warzone. So I'm putting on this Maztec Cottonmouth barrel to get you some more gun kick and bullet velocity. This laser light you're really going to want because this is the light that gets you to have the best increase in mobility of any option available in the game. And you're going to need that with this pistol because a lot of your other attachments are going to weigh it down a bit. Like the 10 round mag is going to weigh it down a bit. And if you want to use the 12, can totally do that too. If you have a trigger that increases fire rate and you have a version of it that will make it black, like the Queen's Guard or the backup plan, the ones I have, would definitely recommend that because you're going to want to up the fire rate on this thing because it's pretty slow without that. And then you don't need to use a rear grip at all. This is what the gun looks like if you don't. I put one on because I just have one that I can replace. I have a couple I can replace actually that will be more tan from Blueprints, especially this Jack of All here, which the whole gun is tan in real life and in Modern Warfare 2019. So if you have an attachment to do that, definitely do. As you can see here, pretty nice faithful look. Definitely have the color right if you use that clay solid color camo. Next build is going to be for the pulat 762. This is a PKM build. And I did go for an all-black polymer look, even though that's not how the gun starts in Modern Warfare 2019. That's how you're going to kit it out. So, monolithic suppressor I went with because this is a Russian-made weapon, so that aesthetic makes sense on this here. I went for the best barrel that I had for bullet velocity, range, recoil, and aiming idle switch. Is all stats, like I said, that really help you out in Warzone. And as you can see, you get a pretty decent boost to the effective damage range and the bullet velocity especially. Merc foregrip I'm using to control the recoil and give it a cool, even bulkier look. This Ivanov Bluff heavy stock is going to help you with your gun kick control, and I'm going to use the VLK 4x optic because in case you haven't noticed, that is my favorite, especially from back in the day. And this thing is incredibly accurate. I'm not correcting the recoil at all here, and as you can see I have a bit of a bounce, but it's going to correct itself through the recoil pattern almost to make it super easy to hit targets even from a long range. And then if I do correct it, becomes even easier. And because this is a 100-round drum mag by default, you can get potentially a whole squad wiped before you even need to reload, which is absolutely incredible. That being said, reload time, as you're seeing here, incredibly slow. Okay, next up I have the ISO 45, which was a really popular gun to use back in the day with Modern Warfare 2019. That was pretty meta for a couple seasons. So I used longest barrel that also comes with a built-in suppressor, which will help this be a stealth loadout. Commando foregrip just for some more aiming, idle sway, and recoil control. 45 round mag, that is the biggest we have. I don't know why you would want to use, well, I guess it has the high grain ammo, but that is a total conversion that I would recommend doing. I would just go for the 45 round mag of 9mm ammo. Again, a grip that's going to help you with recoil control. It's the A30 Stout here, and as you can see, it does quite a bit, 7% in each category there. And you can use whatever sight you want. I like the Slimline Pro. It gives you a really nice slim optic that has really no frills and isn't blocking you. It's pretty simple to look at. Gives you a nice clear sight picture, as you can see, and is one that was available to use back in the day in Modern Warfare 1. Okay, now we are getting to our last two builds. First one here is going to be a more mobile version of the Bruen, because I put the 60 round mag on here, which is still quite plenty, but it cuts it down from the 100 round box mag, which makes you reload and move a lot faster. Colossus suppressor and VLK 40 optic, y'all know the drill on those. Lane 56 stock is going to help me with recoil control and gun kick control at not a terrible cost to mobility. And that's going to stack really well with this stippled 40 grip, which is also helping with recoil and is also going to stack with that. And also the VLK 4x optic, because that's just my favorite by far. I made the MP5 build that I used to use in Modern Warfare 2019 using the Lockman sub here in Modern Warfare 3, which carried forward from Modern Warfare 2. I'm using the Colossus suppressor like I have as my suppressor on most of these builds. Have a lock grip precision 40 foregrip, which gives you a really nice look because it fits in with the aesthetic of the Lockman weapon platform, and it helps with recoil control and hip fire spread, which the hip fire spread could help you a bit with an SMG if you get caught off guard. I use the Lockman TCG 10 grip because again it helps you with gun kick control quite a bit. Only downside is aiming idle sway, but honestly with an SMG your idle sway is not going to matter. You're not going to be taking targets out from super far anyway. 40 round mag I go for because it gives you a pretty big boost to your ammo count without giving you a totally different shape mag, which personally I think the 50 rounds ruin the aesthetic of the gun. And then with that leftover slot, you could either go for any laser that's going to up your ADS speed. I recommend the AccuShot 5mW because it is the best statistically for getting you on target faster. I'm going to go with the 9mm overpressured plus P ammo because it gives you increased target flinch and that extra target flinch would make it a lot harder for enemies to shoot back at you when you're shooting at them. Okay, so those are our favorite OG Warzone builds recreated here today in the Modern Warfare 3 Gunsmith. Let us know your favorite build you saw today and share any that you may have found that we didn't use in the comments below. If you like what you saw, we have more Call of Duty content here on the channel. We'd love to have you subscribe and check out, and we cover loads of topics across gaming and entertainment, both here on YouTube and on our website at StrangelyAwesomeGames.com.